Welcome to another Foolish Thoughts episode. This is Joseph Barone, aka A Fool for Learning, your training and learning consultant. And our foolish thought for today is the two-pager. When I was working for my last employer, the one that I worked at for almost 28 years, we had a director who was always asking staff to create two-pagers. Now, I need to take a step back and explain. Whenever this director, and I will call her Allison, was presented with a recommendation or suggestion from a direct report, or maybe even someone who was not a direct report, she would say to them, "Please write up a 2-page paper for me, double-spaced. No more than 2 pages, okay? And I will take a look." Over the years, I had seen Allison do this on a number of occasions, and I was impressed that someone who was a director would do so because I know that the demands on them were 24/7. Directors were responsible for a line of business and had several units reporting to them, sometimes totaling up to 200 or more staff. One day I went to my manager, Jerry, with an issue that we were having and had some recommendations on the issue. And by the way, never go to your manager with a problem. If you have a problem, always have at least 1 or 2 solutions to the problem. After hearing me out for a minute or so, he said to me, "Please write up a 2-page paper for me, double-spaced. No more than 2 pages and I will read it." I thought, wow, he's going to take this seriously and give it some consideration. After dinner that evening, I worked on it for about 2 hours on my own time, getting it down to 2 pages, very concise, very tight. I then reviewed it in the morning before I headed out to work to ensure that it sounded good, and I sent it off to Jerry. A day or 2 went by and I did not hear from Jerry, even though he was literally just a few doors down the hall from me. But I'm the type that likes to give a person a couple of days to review it, think about it, to make a reasoned decision. A few days after that, he said something in passing to me in the hall, and I realized that he had not read the paper I had worked on my own time, not company time. I said to him, "You didn't read it, did you? You were just putting me off, weren't you?" He looked at me, knew that he had been caught, and walked away. I was furious at him for wasting my time. It would have been better had he just said no directly and upfront to the idea. Of course, it then dawned on me that Jerry not only learned this from Allison, but this was her way of saying no to her staff without saying no. I guess I was a bit naive. Have you ever had a manager who did something like this? If yes, when did you realize that the manager was not really interested in the issue/problem and was just putting you off? I would love to hear from you. And if you're a manager, please don't do this to your staff unless you are really serious about reading it. It is better to read it and say no than not to read it at all. Hopefully, I have given you something to think about. If you learned something from this episode, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, or share with a friend. To learn more about A Fool for Learning and how I can assist you and your organization with an appropriate learning solution to meet your business needs, please visit my website at afoolforlearning.com. This is Joseph Barone, the CEO of A Fool for Learning, signing out. Remember, learn, perform, succeed.